You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. Let's try this again, shall we? The fun part about having a podcast and not being on a network is that if something screws up, you just try again. And if you saw our live stream this morning, apparently we chose the exact time that StreamYard was having some sort of problem. And what I have heard is that if you watched it live, you could hear it, but the playback, you couldn't hear it. So I don't know. So we're going to try again. And this afternoon, and hopefully this great episode with Ebi goes out flawlessly because it's a great conversation with her. She's a singer, a songwriter, a podcaster. She's a pediatrician. She's an amazing person who's doing great things in the mental health space and in the music entrepreneur space. So if you are a musician and looking to make money from it, turn it into a business, watch this episode and listen to Ebi's podcast because she has lots of great information. So there's that. And it looks like people are watching because we are at 91,000 views and downloads of this show. So thank you all so much for that. I appreciate it. It's so exciting. Now would be a really good time to just share the show quickly while you're watching. Just share it and be like, oh my God, watch this episode. It's so good. Because the goal is to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. And so I think we can do it with your help. I don't have lots to tell you today, but I do have very exciting news. Tonight at, I think, 8 p.m. Eastern, my friend Carol Ebert, who is on the show, has been on the show. We love her. She sent this. She's going to be a part of this gut health and menopause event, online event tonight. There is the QR code. And she asked if we would share that. And so if you are going through any of that, sign up. I believe it's free. And go learn some things and join that community. I think things around that subject and that topic, you feel isolated and alone. And that's a great way to go learn and be in a community with people like you. So there you go. Go do that tonight. What else? Carol's book. Carol has a great book called Too Busy for You, How to Prioritize Yourself for a Balanced, Mindful, and Happy Life. That is on my gift guide right here at makeyourdayricher.com/shop because Carol's amazing. The book is so helpful. And I think as people are figuring out their 2025, their lives, and how to prioritize themselves, that is a great resource for that. And so if you go to my gift guide, you can get that book there. Support me, support Carol. It's a win-win, and support yourself. So it's a win-win-win. I'm not sure. There's also a bunch of other stuff on there on my gift guide. So from coffee to vacuums to books to all kinds of great stuff that would make a great gift for you or someone you love. So check it out, would you? Outside of this show, I have a little business that helps other people with their podcasts and live streams. And my friend Amy, who hosts the Inntrospection From Grief to Growth podcast, has a new episode out today, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube, all the fun places. And it's a really good episode. I mean, Amy's an amazing host. She's so open and honest and real. And so I want to play a little clip for you right here.
I want to share a journaling thing that I started after my husband passed away. And what I do now on New Year's Eve because I don't want to be in a crowd of people. I never want to be in a big crowd of people. I'm too much of an introvert and need the energy not zapped from me. It takes way too much to be in a big group for a lot of time. So, what I do is I have a special journal and I write a Dear Steve letter. And in that letter, I share all of the things that were important to me in the current year, so that I've shared with him as if he's been here in the flesh experiencing it. And what I find is that sometimes the things that I was fairly upset about, when I recount them in this letter, they weren't as big or as important as I had given them the attention at the time. That's very healing. I love that I can do that. And I love that I can share it with him.
Check that out. Inntrospection, INN. Introspection is the podcast. Take a look. Also not planned, but Carol's watching. Carol, we love you too. Thanks for watching. And hopefully you see some of our friends that are watching the show tonight. And again, go get Carol's book. Too busy for you? Question mark? The answer should be no. All right, that's it. Let's get to a break, and we'll be back with Ebi right after this. So don't go away, all right? We'll see you back here in a second.
Tired of harsh chemicals in your home? Let's change that. At EcoGlow Cleaning, we bring eco-friendly expertise right to your doorstep. We will make your day richer by bringing a glow to your home or office. For over 20 years, EcoGlow Cleaning has been the trusted choice for professional cleaning services in the Charlotte area. From deep cleaning to regular maintenance, EcoGlow Cleaning offers a wide range of services. All services are tailored to your needs and schedule. Our eco-friendly products ensure a healthy and safe environment for you and your family, including your pets. For a free quote, visit our website at www.ecoglowcleaning.com or give us a call at 704-777-9768. EcoGlow Cleaning is a proud sponsor of Make Your Day Richer TV.
We're back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And Ebi, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Richard. I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I can already tell I want you here all the time because you are very talented and very artistic, and you do lots of things. And we're going to hopefully get through some of the major ones today, and then you can come back later and chat. But first and foremost, you're a singer and a songwriter, which I am so jealous of. When did your love of music begin?
I think for as long as I could remember, I loved the music. I loved singing. I will be one of those 5 years, 6 years old who was maybe doing chores around the house and singing and ad-libbing. Those kind of kids. That was me.
Oh, but you sounded good. I was also doing that, but I did not sound good.
True. I did sound good.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Nigeria in a city called Lagos, which is actually quite popular. Yeah, and I grew up in a family of singers. So yeah, we all loved it.
So you came from a musical family. How loud was your house growing up?
That's hilarious. We all did our thing in our own way. So I'm actually the only professional singer. The rest of us either sang in church or sang together when we had our family prayers at the end of the day, or when we went to church. Sometimes the kids, we will all gather together and learn a brand new song just so we could go sing it in church. We loved it. And at the end of the year, we would normally go and sing together as a family, and we will sing together in like family celebrations and things like that. So we were, I don't know, not too loud, but we were known for our love of music.
That sounds so fun. When did you start writing your own music?
I wrote my first song when I was 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
It was at a time when I was in a clique of friends, and we're all sort of exploring our creativity. And there was one who she was a storyteller, so she would write these amazing stories, and we just loved listening to her tell the stories. So I was like, okay, what's my thing? Hey, I can do something too, right? And I sat down and write my first song. I don't know if it was that good. I'm pretty sure it wasn't great, but that was my first song at 15 years of age.
I mean, no one's demos ever go out, right? It's like people who write books. Your first draft is never the one that's published.
Yep.
That's so fun. Do you still get to, are you like, oh, what happened? Did you see that? That was weird. Are you able to go out? Are you performing? Are you touring? Anything like that with your music?
Yeah. So I went to my first tour this year. So this year I started something around mental health, and it's such a needed work at this current time. And as a pediatrician, I see it a lot at work, and that's where my passion for it came from. So I started to write songs to improve mental health, and I started a podcast around it. And I went on a radio show to talk about it, and he was like, "Do you know what? We have a tour coming up. Do you want to join us?" And yeah, I went to my first tour this year, and I'm hoping to go on another one early next year, a house concert tour actually. So I will be going to people's homes and gardens and maybe even libraries, but small settings. I just love the intimacy of it. I'm planning to do that early next year as well, and all around mental wellness, families, just these empowering songs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I also want to introduce you then to the people who actually wrote our theme song for this show, The Big Infinite. And they are touring musicians, and they're all about mental health as well. And they put on seminars and go to schools.
Amazing.
You guys need to do like some sort of collaboration together or something.
Absolutely.
It'd be so fun.
Absolutely.
Do you know when those dates are going to be released?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, come back, please. When you do, that'll be so fun. Okay, and then you brought up your podcast. You have a podcast, which I love the title, Musicpreneur, Fulfilled Musicpreneur. Tell everybody about that podcast.
So I have two podcasts actually.
Of course she does. Of course she does.
So I'm also a music business coach. When I started in the music industry, I had no clue I was going to be doing this. I'm a pediatrician, by the way. I can remember people asking me, "Hey, Ebi, you sing so well. Aren't you going to release an album?" And I was like, wait, I'm in medical school, right? It just wasn't in the cards.
That was not our question. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't even think it would be a thing for me. And then during the pandemic, all of that changed. For some reason, I just began to really feel called to do more with my music. So I started out on this brand new journey of learning how it was all done, because I knew how to sing and write music, but the rest of it was a complete, nothing. Knew nothing about it. But when I started to learn about it, I decided that I was going to actually also help other artists who are starting out. And the niche that I focused on was monetizing your music, because many of us love the creative side of things. We love the music, we love the passion, and we hate the business side of it.
Left brain, right brain, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast is essentially teaching people how to have a fulfilled career in that way of, you need to monetize your music. I'm actually going to change the name to Monetize Your Music Podcast, because I think that one is more captivating, and that is really what I'm passionate about. So that's it. We talk about how you can grow your audience. We talk about how the lots of different ways that you can monetize. That's what I love to gig out about on the podcast.
And then people will also obviously know exactly what it's about when they find it. How often does it come out, and where can people find it?
So it comes out weekly. It should be coming out weekly, but because I have another podcast now, it's not not as regular right now. But people can find it on most platforms. I think
Okay,
pretty
good.
much all platforms, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, good. And what about, because you were talking about, you knew how to write music and sing music, but you didn't know the other side. What about podcasting? How has that world been for you?
Wow. Do you know what? That has been, it's been a whirlwind. And it's because, first of all, I'm not great about tech. I keep learning new stuff every day. And I started out on the platform that was Spotify for podcasters, but it started out as, it was another name, and then they rebranded
Anchor.
several times. Anchor, yes. And
Yeah.
you could do all of the editing on the platform, and I loved it, and they shut down, or they stopped the editing. The
I think
editing
they
ad-
got bought out. Yeah. Yeah.
that really messed me up. I hate change. I really do hate change. So I had to start finding new ways to do it. So the start of it last year was beautiful. It was brilliant, and this year has not been so much great. But that is really because this year has been really different from last year. Like, I went on tour. There's a lot happening this year. Started a second podcast. So essentially,
Just because you were having so much not fun at the first podcast, now that Spotify went away or Anchor went away, that you were like, I'll start another one.
So I'm really hoping to rebrand and really kick things up a notch for artists. So that one is definitely keep an eye out. And there's lots to binge on right now. So find the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast. Go find it. Get going.
Catch up, and then when you're caught up, we'll start the new stuff, right?
Absolutely.
That's so fun. Well, what did you, in my own nosiness of podcasting and making content like that, what did you find then to do your editing for your podcast? Because it was like a one-stop shop, right? Like everything was there that you needed, and it was very helpful for people.
You know what? I'm still figuring it out.
She's still looking at it, right? I'll talk to you after this about what I use. It's very easy.
Because I've tried Canva, I've tried multiple platforms, and I'm still trying to find the best one. And the tricky thing is the Harmony and Healing podcast, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That one is video. And the other one is only audio. So even though I record and StreamYard like you do, I just use the audio for the podcast. They're two different things. I need two different, So I get on one podcast and realize that actually I can only edit video, or I can download it as a video, but it won't let me download audio. It's such a mess right now.
I'm gonna help you when this is over. They're not gonna want to listen to me tell you about that stuff, but I have a really good program that I will tell you, and we'll talk after this.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, because it's a lot. There's so many options, and there's everybody's the best thing, right? Everybody has the best program. It's tough, and it takes time. So what about your other podcast then that you started? What's that about?
So that one is called the Harmony and Healing Podcast. It's all about mental wellness, and it started out when I wanted to do more in the community around mental health, and really mental health for teenagers, because that's a huge burden that we see at work. Lots of teenagers come in with mental health difficulties, and the statistics are just mind-boggling. So currently, 1 in 6 teenagers struggle with mental health difficulties, and the fact that once the pandemic happened, there was a huge increase in mental health difficulties in teenagers. Obviously, there are different mental health systems everywhere, but here in the UK, it's free. So we have limited number of mental health workers. So the CAMs, the psychiatrists, limited numbers, but increasing demand. So we get into this. So we get into these situations where you have to be sick enough to actually get access to mental health. And it's appalling. So So then teenagers are declining in front of you. You see one, you treat them, you discharge them, and they end up right back in front of you. And I was like, we can do more. So I decided to think about what we could do in the community. And one of the first things I noticed was how people shy away from having the conversations. You know, maybe a teenager will say something like, well, I'm having suicidal thoughts, and people freak out and they're like, oh, I need to call your mom, I need to send you to the hospital. I'm like, dude, actually that's probably the wrong thing to do, because if that's the first sign that they're struggling, there's so much you can do in the community. If you send them to hospital, they're going to say you're not sick enough. Go home. And
Yeah.
I was seeing lots of parents who feel really helpless. You know, they don't know what to do, they don't know what to say, and these teenagers are stuck, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously, this shouldn't be that hard. I think at home, the aunties, the uncles, the teachers, they can do more, and we can normalize having these conversations. So I started to bring mental health, experts, coaches, mindset coaches. I started to bring them on the podcast and interview them on mental health skills. And we started to talk about using, visualizations, affirmations, journaling, and we really dove deep in. And I think the big message is everyone can help. There's this saying that if 1 in 4 adults struggle with mental health difficulties, well, what happens if the 3 come around the 1? So there's a part that we can all play. And first of all, it's realizing that, hey, I need to do better. I need to know more. I need to know enough to help my child. And even taking this one step further to even prevent.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yes. So this whole project is not just for people that are struggling. It's for well people. It's for families who are growing their kids. They might be young, but if you start to incorporate these skills into your day-to-day, and then when they become teenagers and they start to experience anything life throws their way, well, whatever it is, they have these skills to fall back on, right? So there's a lot we're doing. The podcast is just part of it. All the songs coming out. I'm hoping to do music videos. I'm going around speaking about it. So that's what's happening with the
Put it out there
community.
first, speak about it, and then the rest will follow. Yeah, I mean, what happens if we do stuff before we get sick? If we, and it's we talk about like preventative, but it's just like making it part of your everyday life, bringing in the arts. Like there's so many health benefits to engaging in the arts, no matter what type of art it is. And if you're doing it before you get sick,
yeah,
and you might not get sick or as sick, or might, I could talk to you all day. When you're not writing music, hosting podcasts, you wrote a book. Pursue your passion, uncover your calling. Come on, where's that available and what's it about?
That one's also on my website. It's on Amazon. And it is about how it's the epiphany that I experienced when I started in the music industry. Because you will think, as a pediatrician, a wife, 2 kids, my life is full, I should be fulfilled, right? And then most of us as adults, we start to get really busy. It's not our fault, right? Life is full.
It happens.
But then we start to neglect these other parts of ourselves. And music is such a big part of me. So when I actually started to write again and release music, I realized that my life even became fuller, and it felt like, oh my goodness, was that even living? Like, what it was richer. It was like I was missing a huge chunk of myself that I didn't even know was missing, right?
Yeah.
So the whole premise of the book is, hey, we all have gifts. We all have these parts of us that is our passion, right? If you pursue your passion, you will uncover your calling, and you will go on to live this fulfilled life that you didn't even think was possible. And I think that that's probably what's missing in people who you think, hey, they have everything. Why are they still struggling? There's more. Have you found your calling? And are you doing it? Because that brings so much fulfillment. And then I actually take people on a 7-step framework of actually starting. So if you decide that, hey, I want to be a speaker, I love speaking. Well, what sort of things can you do to actually start to discover how to do it well? What steps can you take? There's journaling prompts, there's actually activities that you can get started on. And then if you decide that, hey, I'm loving this, well, what if you could even take it one more step further and build a business around it? Because no one had a huge impact on the world without organizing whatever passion they had into something that was huge, right? Mm-hmm. So build a business, a ministry, build something out of it, and even monetize and leave a legacy for your kids, for your grandkids, So that's what the book is about.
Oh, that's it. That's all the book is about. How can people connect with you and work with you, book you, get your music? What's the best way?
Yes, real easy. My website is ebioginni.com. You can email me from there. You can follow me social media, email me on, message me on social media. It's Ebi Oginni Music on Facebook, Instagram, pretty much almost everywhere.
All the other things.
But yeah,
okay,
I am
good.
Open for bookings.
Love it. Love it. What do you love most about your life right now?
Wow. I love the unpredictability of it. I am in a phase of of change. So I'm in pediatrics, right? I'm in my last year of training to become a consultant. And we will move to Canada when I'm done. So there's all of this change happening. And then the actual business side of things as well is still at a really early phase because, hey, I'm still pretty much a full-time pediatrician, but the potential and what could possibly happen, that just lights me up. Just the possibilities. That is the best part of my life. I'm just thinking about, hey, what could happen? What could life look like in 5 years?
Yeah. Well, and you're going through, speaking of mental health, you're going to be going through such huge changes in your life with your schooling being done, moving, like those are huge things that can disrupt you and really rock your mental health. And I love that you're taking the steps again to prepare for it instead of waiting until you're in Canada and miserable about something and then being like, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I love that. I could talk to you for hours. And maybe I'll start a second podcast and it'll just be you as the guest every day. And we'll talk about all the great things you're doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Of course. Anytime. Go get Ebi's music. Go get her book. Hire her as your coach. Just do all the things, will you?
All the things.
All the things, as she said. But also, don't go away because we'll be right back after this. Thank you so much.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
There you go. I hope you can hear the show. Thanks for watching. On tomorrow's show, we've got Robert Hunt, who's the author of Nobody Cares Until You Do, which is a great book. And I'm excited to introduce you to him. Hey, thanks for watching. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching the show, and I love you for it. And we'll soon be at 100,000 views thanks to you. Now's another good time to share the show, okay? All right. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.